Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the.
Consequences only matter if I don't get away.
What's going on, Nasteey Nation? It's Nasteey, and today's video is going to be yet another full game commentary with Rakan. So I've actually done quite a few full game commentaries recently, and more specifically, I've done a lot of full game commentaries for Rakan. I did an initial reaction kind of video where I played Rakan right after the recent changes, gave my my input on that. I've tried a couple different rune pages. I went for a speed demon, Predator Rakan. I've played a glacial augment permaslow Rakan. Those are all videos that you guys can see on my channel. This time around though, I wanted to go back to the roots. I wanted to play the standard Rakan, the standard Guardian page. That page of course starts with Guardian, goes into Demolish, Bone Plating, Revitalize, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and then my extra rune stats are going to be 2 Adaptive Force and 1 Armor Rune. This is kind of the overall standard page that you'll see. It's pretty common in solo queue, it's pretty common in competitive play. Overall, it's probably the best page, even though the Glacial Augment build and the Predator videos that I did, I think both of those builds were good, but this again is the most standard page. Also recently, I don't know how many of you guys follow me on social media, and I recently posted that I just got back to Masters on my main account. Been a while since I've been in Masters, so I was pretty proud of that. It took me 3 different times. I had to go through Master promos 3 times. Eventually I was able to make it, but throughout all of those games, I was pretty much only playing Rakan. So I'm having a lot of success on the champion as of recently. The champion feels really good if you are able to play him correctly. It's really nice to be able to max W again instead of having to max Q as you did before the buffs. Overall, Rakan feels like he's in a really good place at the moment, and I'm hoping that in this game specifically, I'll be able to show you guys just how good he can be. We are up against a Lucian Lux lane. Lucian is a bit of a tricky champion to play up against as Rakan because he has his dash. Lux is somebody I can get onto pretty easily, but she is running the Aftershock page, which means it's a little bit more difficult to get onto her. Also, in the Xayah Rakan lane as we have here, you typically play pretty aggressive the entire lane phase, but because we had to leash and it seems they didn't, they got to lane first, they have the early push, so they're going to get level 2 here. There's not a whole lot that we can do. So even though I typically love in this lane to start W level 1, go aggressive level 1, try to get an early first blood, it just wasn't an option this game. Lux is probably chilling in that bush right there. He's going to be trying to poke us down as much as possible. I'm going to put a point in my Q and hopefully start poking them back a little bit. I think if this guy overextends to poke more often, I probably need to be looking to poke him down or W on him at the same time. I was thinking about going in just a few seconds ago, but because Xayah's cooldowns were on, or Xayah's abilities were on cooldown, I didn't think it'd be the best option. Also, I believe Xayah has not put a point in her W yet, and that is very key for the Xayah Rakan bot lane. Her W makes Rakan a lot stronger. After these next 2 minions, we'll get E. E is something that I kind of wanted before I go super aggressive in this lane. Because if you go in as Rakan and you miss your W, and you don't have your E yet, then you're kind of stuck there. But if you have your E available, you can get in and out pretty fast. We're going to go for extended trade here. I think this was a little bit more than we actually wanted to do. Yeah, not really looking to go for that extended fight there. After I dashed out, I think the fight was kind of over. And then they have heals still as well, so Xayah going for the extended fight there, really not a good idea. Even though we win this lane very hard, and we had a clear advantage there, she kind of threw it by going a little bit too deep there. No worries though, I still have my sums, I can look to make another play. I'm assuming that Lucian is going to push in this wave and try to recall. Let's see if I can maybe freeze the wave or hold the wave. That way Xayah gets all of the CS. I can also take this up quite a bit, so I'm not too worried about that. I had full HP, and I'm heading back to base right now anyway, so I don't mind taking up that real quick and holding all those minions before they get to tower. So a little bit of an unfortunate start. Xayah again going a little bit too deep. I think what we could have easily done there is just taken the easy trade where we poke them out. Lux is now basically out of lane. We're in a 1v2 lane. We still have all of our sums. Instead, Xayah flashes in, gets baited by the heal. So we went from being in a very good position to win the lane and to now being where we are now, where they have a kill advantage on us. Luckily, it's the Lux that has the kill and not the Lucian, so I don't think Xayah will be all too far behind. I am taking a little bit of a peek mid right now just to see if I can help with anything. Veigar is recalling though, and the wave's completely pushed under towers, so there's no point in me being there anymore. Get all of this warded. Clear all the wards. I don't have my W for a couple seconds. I tried to bait out using my W as long as possible because I wasn't sure what summoner spells Lucian had. So instead of using my W and potentially letting him live because he dashes out or he flashes out or whatnot, I tried to just kill him using my natural auto attacks and my ignite, saving my W. And then eventually, once I knew Lucian was dead, I went in for the W to knock up the Lux. Sometimes it's better to hold on to your abilities rather than use them because the enemy is more times than not going to be waiting for you to use those abilities. Right here, I'm kind of overextended just slightly. I do have that available as well. Xayah's probably going to die in the process. I think we just let her go. Okay, so that was a little bit greedy of me. The game plan there was to let Xayah start her recall. I was going to proc my Spell Thieves on the tower, proc my Demolish on the tower, and then jump back to her for the recall. I knew Lee was there. I didn't see a Nivy coming over. So, not the best play on my behalf, but I did have kind of a game plan in mind. I wasn't just being oblivious. I think here would have been another good chance to go mid, but this time around, instead of Veigar recalling, he died. So there's no point in me going bot right now. Kha'Zix is a little bit ahead. Renekton's a little bit ahead. It's just our mid laner and our ADC are behind at the moment. So if Kha'Zix wants to go top at this point in the game, he can help snowball Renekton. But considering Renekton is running Exhaust Ignite, I think he should be okay. I'm thinking maybe he'll spend the rest of the game bot lane. Maybe look to help mid, because even though Veigar is behind in the game right now, he does still have his CC that can help set up ganks if he's able to properly set up his cage. Lux is currently missing, but Veigar is pushed in, so I don't think Lux is going to be able to accomplish anything elsewhere on the map. This is pushing in towards us. We're even in CS, and we still have this big wave to catch, so that's good for us as well. We have control ward down at the moment in case a gank comes our way. Should be prepared for that. I'm still just now hitting 5 though, whereas Lucian is 6 though, so if I am going to set up ganks or look for plays, I do need to just do it with my W and not rely on my ulti. In matchups like this where it's Rakan against Lux, typically it can be very important that you lane your Q because that's going to be your best way to sustain against a poking champion. But Lux hasn't been efficiently poking us down all too much, so even though I haven't been landing too many Qs, it hasn't hurt us all that much yet. As we see there, both of us going toe to toe and missing pretty much everything. When it comes down to poking though, if we're both missing, that's okay because Lux is the stronger one when it comes to poking. The way that it typically works in matchups like this, where it's hard engage into poke, the poke will win if she is able to stay a safe distance away, whereas the hard engage will win if they are able to actually get on the enemy. As I was mentioning earlier, it's very dangerous to go in with your W if you don't have your E available, and as you saw there, if I didn't have my E up right then and there after that W misses, I'm probably in a lot of trouble. So that's why even though you do typically put a point in Q and W at the start of the game for points 1 and 2, you do have to be very, very safe when you're doing that. Some people will actually go a point in E second rather than Q to allow them to have that extra safety, but the Q does allow for more sustain and for a little bit more of a damage output. I do have flash and ulti, so maybe we could set something up right here. Alright, a little unfortunate that I got the kill, but that is how you typically do the Rakan combo these days. Instead of just going straight up to the enemy and using your RW combo, you need to make sure that you are out of sight, out of mind, and that way they don't see you actually ramping up your ultimate, because you do need to have that half-second window. Right here, I have almost 1,000 gold, and I really just wanted to recall so we can get back in lane and start pressuring our lane some more. I was starting my recall early as well because I wanted Xayah to recall with me. Even though she's going to be a little bit behind now, she did get a tower plate, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's how you typically want to do it these days. You got to start up your ulti out of sight. That way you can get rid of that half-second window in which you can't actually use your W. I don't have my... Wow, a lot of damage there from the Nibby ulti. So right there, it actually kind of worked out pretty perfectly because I was able to recall and keep a fast tempo, whereas Xayah stayed a little bit behind. She got the extra plate, but because of that time separation that we had, it allowed me to have time to rotate to the mid lane and be a part of that fight. Even though I didn't lend a whole lot because I didn't land a lot of my abilities, I was just there for kind of the... I was kind of just there for the shields, and then I was also a threat to prevent Anivia from joining the fight. As much as she possibly could have if I wasn't there. Because at this point in the game, because Veigar is behind, I'm not sure if they even win that 2v2, even though Kha'Zix is far ahead.
It's always the time.
Now we have Lux in the mid lane right now, so I think we should probably push this up. I'm going to look to get a ward in the river, and then we're going to look for some more plates. I do have that Demolish, so that does help take towers a little bit faster. Lucian doesn't have the best of wave clear unless he's using his ulti on the wave. Another issue that the enemy team is having right now is even though their win condition in the Lux Rakan lane is to outpoke us, because Lux did go for the Aftershock, she doesn't quite have that advantage. She doesn't poke for quite as much rather. Ulti is back up. I don't have flash. I know Lux has no flash because she used that in the last fight. The only concern I have right now is if we were to go on to Lux, if Lucian can kill us in the time that it takes us to kill Lux or not. I don't think he does. He has the Cutlass. That's about it. Also, if I just blatantly use my ulti and try to W Lux after the half-second window, Lux has that time to potentially use her snare, and that just stops my engage altogether. I think we might be setting up for a dive here. I think they spotted him. I'm gonna keep an eye on our jungler in case he gets into a fight with Lee Sin. Looks like he should be okay though, because Lee Sin just showed top. Okay, we've got a bit of a sticky situation here. I don't know why Xayah is recalling right now. I'm assuming it's because she has an item. Most likely because she has an item. That's the second time in a row, though, where I have put myself in a bad situation trying to do too much and then rely on a recall. So that's probably a sign that I am trying to utilize our passive a little bit too much. Be a little bit smarter, a little bit safer with that. Gonna do the same thing here. Try to go into the bush. Ulti, jump to my Kha'Zix, essentially. He gets knocked up. But Lux has no flash. I think we're just gonna get a 1-for-0 there. Not too bad. So the game plan there again was to go into the bush to prevent them from seeing my ulti wind up and get rid of that half-second window when there's a time span where they don't actually know where I am. After that, I was hoping to jump onto the Kha'Zix and then W from there. Unfortunately, he got snared up, so that distance was a little bit too far away, and I just had to, instead of jump to him, do it naturally. I guess I could help Xayah push in this wave. Start my recall early. Let her tag along. We're gonna be going for a pretty standard build here. The Zeke's Rush is pretty common. Picking that up in just less than 15 minutes is pretty good. I also have my flashback up now. Ulti is up in 40. Kha'Zix has a lot of camps in the top side of the map, so I'm assuming he's going to be taking these camps and then coming to the bot side, or maybe counter jungling. Dragon's up though, and because he's going to no longer have any camps on the top side and Renekton's ahead, I don't think he'll be top anymore.
Everyone is depending on me.
So I think what I should do is probably just hold on to my ulti. It's going to be up in 20. I'll just hold on to that when it does come up. Get rid of the blast cone real quick. Yeah, just hold on to my ulti, wait for him to come down and potentially get a dive. Use my ulti and flash together. Because I'm assuming we're gonna dive here, I'm gonna go this direction and start clearing out some vision. See if any of this is warded. Kind of least in the process. So none of this was warded, but they do have a control ward in the dragon pit, so that probably swatted out Kha'Zix, I'd imagine. Whoa, nice flash. Nice jump. Quality gameplay that we have going on right here. Despite me being 202 and having a bounty and being pretty headed in this game, I am struggling to land my Qs quite a bit. Luckily, when it comes to playing Rakan, his Q is not by any means the most important ability that he has.
How do you like me today?
More than yesterday, less than tomorrow.
Yeah, Rakan's Q is not by any means his most important ability. If you can land your ulti and you can land your R, then you're set as Rakan. So Lux just wasted flash and ulti. Probably a really good time to start looking for some fights. Also, I do apologize for the Discord ping that's going on in the background. I don't know how much you guys can hear that. Just know that is my Discord and not yours.
What the hell were
I still really think we could dive this. Even if it is warded, if somebody just wraps around, I can take it up pretty easily. Or they could just do a lane gank. That also works. Almost forgot to attach my Zeeks there. Looks like they're just going to be giving this. Typically after you get the bot lane tower as the bot lane, you rotate top, but top is also gone already. I think at this point we're so far ahead that we can just openly fight these people whenever we want. Lee Sin's here. Maybe I can bait something out. Bit of an interesting fight we have going on here. Alright, I'm gonna let this play out and then I'll commentate afterwards because there's a whole lot going on right now. Actually, I think it might be over now. So, right there, I was trying to bait it out, pretend like I didn't know Lee Sin was there, and then wait for Kha'Zix to come in. But my ulti, as you saw there, got stunned up, so my engage went nowhere, essentially. And as I was just talking about, without the engage, doesn't matter if you can shield your allies and if you can land your Q on the enemy. If you can't land your engage as Rakan, you're going to struggle quite a bit. So that's why that fight was a little lopsided. Didn't go quite as clean as we were hoping it would. I think I went like 1 for 1 or 2 for 2 or something like that. So, not the worst thing in the world. Gonna grab Merc Treads, a couple of control wards. I think at this point we have Rift top. That's going to be taken down pretty soon. We're probably going to group mid here. Luckily enough, I still have my flash. I didn't waste my flash in that last fight. I was actually just about to try to go for a flash engage before I got stunned. In that half-second window where my ulti was winding up is when I got stunned up. So I didn't have the opportunity to quite use my W yet or my flash. Well, I could have flashed, but wouldn't have gone anywhere. Alright, so they are looking to group mid here. The Rift Herald got us the outer tower. In order to get this next one, we don't have the best of siege, so I think we're going to have to hard engage on some people. Gonna rotate top here. See if we can help out our Renekton. He's down already. Kha'Zix is gonna make it 1 for 1, I'm assuming. Alright, not bad, not bad. Just had to make sure I waited for Lee Sin to use all of his mobility before I use my W. Kind of want to have that approach when it comes to... Oh, thank God the tower's gone, or else I probably would have died there. You kind of want to wait for people to use their mobility spells first. That way it prevents you from potentially messing up your engage. So made sure I waited till he used his ward hop before I did anything too fancy there. I don't think we're going to be able to kill him there because he is fairly tanky with that Rod of Ages. Kind of just looking to get some poke off there, proc the Spell Thieves, and then get out using Xayah. I think right here, 800 gold's a decent amount to recall on. Kha'Zix is also recalling. Renekton's going to be heading boss side, it looks like. We're going to go ahead and get started on this Redemption. So I got 2 control wards in my inventory. I probably need to put one of those down pretty soon. No point in having 2 in my inventory if I don't even have one on the map. Dragon's going to be up in 45. That's probably going to be our next objective to focus on. Again, I still have Flash, and that is a huge part of setting up engages as Rakan. Very important that you have Flash up as much as possible. And by that I mean, obviously, you can't control when you flash and when you don't flash sometimes, because you find yourself in situations where you just need to use it. But make sure you are very wise on when you pull the trigger with your flash, because you got to make sure you're doing it at the right times, and you got to make it as efficient as possible. Dragon up in 10. We're pushing down mid at the moment. I'd like to essentially just fall back here. We are stronger than them, but at the moment we have 2 people bot lane. So I don't think pushing mid is super wise. We could potentially rotate over this way. Take up a fight though. I ulted early there, expecting the fight to not go in our favor that fast at least. So my ulti definitely wasn't necessary there, but it will help secure the Lucian. Dragon is up. I feel like Dragon is something that you get on the way out, not necessarily in the middle of a push. So right now, we already have a large advantage. We have a large advantage with 2 of them dead. That's another 2 dead now. I don't think doing Dragon is going to be the best idea. I think when it comes to taking dragons, you typically want to push towers down as much as possible and then spare a little bit of time to get the dragon on the way out. So right now with 2 of them or 3 of them dead, but they're going to be up in 10 to 15 seconds, this would be a good time to fall back and get this dragon, because I don't think we necessarily have the push to get too much more over there. Let's see what they end up doing though. I think Kha'Zix has the right idea here. It may just be that we're so far ahead at this point that we could have stayed. But in a closer game situation, I think this is the right call, and I do think that it's just a better idea to get in the habit of making the right decision and not relying so much on just being so far ahead that it doesn't matter. Xayah is going to give us shutdown right there. I don't think it's the end of the world. We're still up like 15 kills or so. Dragon is up. Again, this is something that I don't think we definitely need to do because we are so far ahead. But in a closer game situation, Baron would be our next major objective. That's kind of where we would put our main focus, setting a vision in the area. When you're this far ahead in a game, Baron isn't so much a great idea, because if you happen to have a really poorly played fight, you can allow the enemy team to pick up an easy team fight and pick up a Baron and get back into the game that way. Instead, just use your pure advantage that you have, the fact that you're stronger than them. Use that to your advantage and just push down the towers. Xayah isn't here yet, so this is a little dangerous for me to walk up in here. Let's see if I can re-engage on this. So I am going to set up a 3-man ulti knock up there. I'm going to go down in the process because I was already very low from getting picked off at the beginning. Again, though, I feel like a broken record at this point. but I just want to point out the fact that that is how you need to be able to set up fights these days as Rakan after the changes. Again, I feel like a broken record, but that half-second window where you can't use your W can really hurt you if you don't utilize it correctly. So make sure you use your ulti when you're off on the side of the screen. That way the enemy can't see it coming quite as much. You ulti, you wait that half-second window, you build up that movement speed, and then you come in with an engage. So I'm over here. I use my ulti, I flash W before they even have time to react. That's kind of how you have to play it these days. So I'm going to end the game 2-1-12. Pretty clean performance overall. Pretty happy with this performance. I hope you guys were able to find this video helpful. I hope you guys were able to enjoy it overall. If you were, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. That'll do it for me though. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I could do this all day, I could do this all night, all month, all year, for my whole entire life. Who you know got a home, but seen to live on the road, looking like a black gypsy in a curve.